Davante Adams could be released. He could be traded, but his cap number, $38.2 million, is going to make this a tough pill to swallow for some teams that just can wait and watch him get released. It depends on what teams, how many teams decide they want to jump ahead of the line and not have to compete to go get him. Very much feels like he will be cut. And that means he will probably follow Aaron Rodgers wherever Aaron Rodgers goes. And we don't know if that's going to be the New York Giants. Will it be the Pittsburgh Steelers? Will it be another team? We'll know a lot more about that direction here in the coming days as Aaron Rodgers' buzz kicks into high gear. We're going to have a lot of quarterback buzz. Sam Darnold live streams, Justin Fields live streams, Cam Ward live stream probably tonight, because we'll talk about that news tonight that the Giants are getting very active to try and move up to that number 1 overall pick, which will be amazing for our Malik Neighbors predictions here on the channel.
Mashed potatoes! Yeah, buddy.
Malik Neighbors to the mother freaking moon, and the moment he gets a quarterback, everybody else is going to start talking about, this could be potentially the number 1. I'm going to say something bold that no one else has been talking about for months. I'm just saying maybe with Cam Ward now, if the Giants do trade up, Neighbors, I'm just going to say it. I'm going to be the first one to say it. He could be the wide receiver 1. Cooper Kupp, will he be traded? Are the Dallas Cowboys actually picking up the phone, or is Jerry Jones, did he hit his head? I don't know. I don't know if Jerry knows what he's doing here, because he might be interested in an impact player. You might say Cooper Kupp's not an impact player. We can have that debate too. The Fantasy Football Show, Cooper Kupp, Davante Adams, on the move. Where will they be? Neither one will be in their perspective or their current teams right now. They'll be elsewhere. Where will they be? The Fantasy Football Show begins right now.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios. It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
If I had to guess where Davante Adams will be after he likely is released, I would probably suggest that he goes to... Man, this is tough because, I do think he'll probably attempt to go wherever Aaron Rodgers goes, but not every team's going to want that. Not every team can afford that. Not every team's going to need that. I still think Pittsburgh's a really solid dark horse, but I know that hasn't been talked about lately, so it doesn't feel like that's the landing spot for Aaron Rodgers right now. He could even retire, The Raiders are in the mix. They weren't because they were having their sights set on Stafford. Stafford's now back in LA. So Aaron Rodgers, would Adams really go back to the Raiders? It wouldn't be the craziest thing. It would just be wild. We've seen crazier things happen. Could Aaron Rodgers go play football for the Titans? I've heard that, and I think that would be an awful decision. Why would he go there? Unless it was for just a final money grab. Like, I can't understand why that would be an option for him. The Saints, people are going to kick around. They seem to love Derek Carr, which is wild. There really aren't a lot of other locations, but the Giants potentially, so going from one New York to the other, going to the Raiders, going to some have suggested the Colts, but I don't think you never know. Aaron Rodgers goes there, expects to start. AR5's not a threat to him. Whatever, that's the way he probably looks at that. It's a possibility. Cleveland Browns would be kind of an intriguing place in my opinion, because I think the Browns can kind of win now. Look what they do right now with nothing. So the Browns are a pretty decent spot. Can you imagine Davante Adams, Jerry Jeudy, and Aaron Rodgers, and then the Cleveland Browns potentially, go after? I mean, imagine if they took Ashton Genty, they move this 2 down just slightly and take Ashton Genty, Aaron Rodgers, Davante Adams, Jerry Jeudy. Defense is pretty formidable team. I'm not saying they win a Super Bowl. I'm not saying they win even a playoff game, but Aaron Rodgers, where does he play? I don't know. Where does this guy play? It depends on where Aaron Rodgers plays. Do I think they for sure play together? I don't know that that's something you can say, but I think they're going to try. This right here, Dallas Cowboys, If the price drops enough, the Dallas Cowboys may be intrigued to go get Cooper Kupp. That's kind of a new development, especially coming from Dallas, who penny pinches, and they're going to be selectively aggressive, they say, in the free agent market. Maybe this is what they mean. Maybe they are going to be slightly aggressive. Maybe the word aggressive should have been paid attention to more, or maybe this is all smoke and mirrors and Jerry's not going to do a single thing. But Cooper Kupp would be pretty good in Dallas. This is where he probably needs to go, a place where there's a quarterback, a competent quarterback. A lot of people doubt him, but I still think Dak's got a lot to offer in terms of throwing and targeting a player. So you've got a place where Cooper Kupp doesn't have to become the one, can kind of be a crafty, slippery, sneaky 806 or 7 touchdown receiver, which would be pretty formidable for your 3-4 wide receiver spots in fantasy football 12-team leagues. I don't mind that. It does keep maybe some attention off CeeDee Lamb, but he's not a threatening enough receiver to damage CeeDee Lamb's target share or value. This gives the team the ability to still consider that RB at 12, which would be Genty, which would be the best pick in the fantasy football circles. For Genty's landing spot, it would be one of the best picks in the draft value-wise. Jerry would be able to redeem himself a little bit from passing on an RB in this past free agency cycle, where he punted going after Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley, and Josh Jacobs, and this would be an explanation as to why it makes sense. And at the end of the day, it was better that they didn't, because now they got Ashton Genty. They wouldn't take it Genty if they had Henry. They wouldn't take Genty if they still have Barkley. So it's a way of Jerry making up for sins of the past. Dallas would be good. I think this would be a good fit for Cooper Kupp. Tough to say if Jerry would be smart enough or actually willing to pay any sort of price at all to go get him, though. So how much does this price tag need to drop? Because this report says that it needs to drop in order for Jerry to be interested. Let's open the phone lines up and see where you guys think these guys will go. Let me also mention that on this end screen, I'm not ending the show, but on the end screen here, I have this message from Big Sonny. Big Sonny, if you're out there, bro, appreciate you, Big Sonny, for dropping that at the beginning of the show, and I think I didn't answer it until a little bit later and you had left. So I want to make sure Big Sonny feels taken care of. Big Sonny, your question here, I answered it at the very end of the show with the credits going up on the last show. So Big Sonny, if you're out here, let me know. My top 5 running backs were coming out of the combine are going to be, it's going to be Genty. Obviously he didn't participate, but he's Genty. Tier break, okay? Henderson, my number 2 right now, mini tier break. And then it's a grab bag depending on landing spot, whether it's Hampton, whether it's going to be Caleb Johnson, whether it's going to be Scatterboo, whether it's going to be any of these RBs. It's a very, very close crew. Scatterboo, Hampton, Caleb, they're all really, really, really close. Judkins is even up there. Judkins could go to 3 just with the landing spot. Hampton could go to 2 if the landing spot was amazing and Henderson's spot was bad. They're all so close. There's no way to really say that like talent's going to shine through in that bucket below the Genty crew. Situation's king. Just like I always say, Arian Foster was not the best running back in the National Football League, but he was the best running back in the National Football League for years. It didn't matter. It didn't matter that the talent wasn't as good as a Barry Sanders or wasn't as good as a Marshall Faulk or a LaDainian Tomlinson. Arian Foster was as good as those guys, but he wasn't. So situation's king. Genty's like LT. Genty's like Marshall Faulk. Hampton, Judkins, even Henderson to a degree. These are guys that are Arian Foster. They in the right spot. They could be as good as anybody. That's the nature of fantasy football. But when you get that close, situation becomes king. So, Big Sonny, if you're out there, shout out to you. Appreciate you. Hopefully you saw that. Phone lines open. Dial in. Call
into the show. Call into the show.
Landing spot's so hard to predict too, because when you get into the second round, unless one of these guys goes in the first round at the tail end or something, and that could happen. I mean, look, Henderson's that good. Hampton is good enough. Judkins is good enough. These are good enough players to be, honestly, in the the 9 to 15 overall fantasy football value territory from year to year, meaning these are top of round 2, bottom of round 1 players potentially in the right spot. That's how good the talent level is. I don't think you'll ever see Judkins ranked in the top 3 overall in fantasy. You're not taking him at 1, at 1.1, 1.2, 1.3. Could you take Gentry there? Yes. Could Hampton become a staple at 1.9? Could Caleb Johnson become a staple at 2.2 every single year for 2-3 years, straight? Like think of Marshawn Lynch. Marshawn Lynch always being taken at like 7, 8, 9, 10, 14. Totally. All these guys. The landing spot is king. Landing spot means everything. If in fact he follows, talking about Davante Adams, Aaron Rodgers, Davante is finished. To keep following Rodgers is a waste. It really, I don't disagree with you. But at the same time, it's like he might be done anyway. I think if he goes somewhere where there's no good spot, bro, is that really, like, he goes somewhere where there's, let's say he goes where? Like, who's going to take him? Let's say he goes to Pittsburgh and Russell Wilson stays. Is that going to be better than following Aaron Rodgers to Las Vegas, where he could be the number 1, next to Bowers? Bowers would probably be the number 1, but I mean, it depends on the scenario, Joseph. I get what you're saying, and it does feel like he's just kind of following Aaron Rodgers blindly around, but we might not have a lot of time with Adams anyway. Adams will probably be a 908 type of guy this year. Could he be a 1110? It's possible, but I would probably bank on more of a 908 touchdown type of season for him. I don't think I could even count on him as anything but my wide receiver 3. And if I'm required to pay higher, someone goes, Smitty's going to go higher, then so be it. Someone else is going to have him. I'm not going to own him. I'm not going to draft him as a wide receiver 2. But I would definitely take him as a 3. I think there's a possibility. Adams should go back to Green Bay. That's kind of like what a lot of people are saying, and I agree that it's a possibility that he goes back to one of his former teams. He's either going back to LV with Aaron Rodgers, or he goes back to Green Bay with Jordan Love. Those do feel like very possible endpoints for him, especially at the end of his career. He's probably thinking, that might not be that bad. Aaron Rodgers and Adams too. The Giants will be nice. Thank you, says Eugene. That is an interesting thought, and I don't think Aaron Rodgers with Adams in New York probably, if we're being honest, isn't what we initially are going to want for neighbors. I think that Adams is probably at the point in his career where he can't compete with Neighbors. He just can't. Neighbors is a better player. But does Aaron Rodgers have a special relationship with Adams that will still have Rodgers no matter what, laser locking on Adams? Think of Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson, we thought, okay, very special player. But, Rodgers kind of looked to Adams a little more because he knows him. Yeah, and he kind of, did at times. So I don't know. It's tough to say. Garrett Wilson still did good, and there were still great moments, but I don't know that that's what I want. Number one, I want a younger quarterback. I also am hearing rumors, and we'll talk about this tonight, and I believe these rumors to be true. It's what we're going to probably lead with tonight, that the Giants are very much trying to get the 1 overall pick. They're very much trying to vie for that Cam Ward acquisition. So I don't think Aaron Rodgers, especially Aaron Rodgers and Adams, is on the minds of the New York Giants right now. The New York Giants are trying to build something for the future. Would they use Aaron Rodgers if need be because they can't find anybody else? Of course they would. What are you going to do? Grab nobody? But I think their intention is not to go after Aaron Rodgers. Initially, it is to go get Cam Ward, might even turn to Justin Fields, and I hope they do. And then they start looking at their alternatives if they can't get, any of those things done. If I'm Justin Fields, I go to New York in a millisecond. I go to New York in a New York minute. Why? Because Neighbors is there. And I know Joe Scheinbox is in the way, but Dable's there. And there were some good picks that this team made. This is a good, solid potential foundation for an organization and a turnaround. And Joe Scheinbox might not be there next year. He might not be there maybe 2 years from now. You don't know how long he's going to stay. His tenure might not be as long as you think. And then at that point, it's like it's turnaround time. And Daboll's got a lot of upside to repair quarterbacks and to work with quarterbacks. So if I'm Fields, I'm definitely tempted to go somewhere where there's no other quarterback. And I got Malik Neighbors. It's similar to Darnold going and getting fixed in Minnesota where he got Justin Jefferson. It's a recipe for a bounce back. You give Neighbors to Fields is similar to giving JJ and Addison to Darnold. And you just got to take advantage of that. So if I'm Fields, I'm vying for that. I'm vying for that for sure. Not sure these guys are winning leagues for you. I'm not all that. I'm sure this live stream is kind of entertaining, but then you're probably like, well, these guys aren't exciting. But there's value here. I mean, Adams still has the potential. Again, I'm not drafting him as a wide receiver 2, but could he produce those numbers? He could. Even if you're drafting him as a wide receiver 3, that's very beneficial to your fantasy team. But yeah, I hopefully there's some movement here because we would like to see, we'd like to see one of these things happen. I think the Dallas Cowboys getting Cooper Kupp would be very, very good. And then Adams getting traded versus released might be interesting too, because then it separates Davante Adams and Aaron Rodgers. If he's released, then he's more likely to follow Aaron Rodgers. That's the thing that you gotta, I think, look for. Joe the Realist, appreciate you, my boy. Read for Debo in Dynasty. I have wide receiver depth. Bro, because Green Bay's looking to add a receiver, I think Reed's value probably is leaning, and this could change, but leaning in the direction of going down. And Debo's value is going up. And while I am a big advocate of not going after an older player or using a younger player, especially one I love as much as Jaden Reed, it's an interesting move if you don't need to worry about the loss here. Like, this is a 1-year move for you. Debo's exciting. It really could be a big year for Debo. I think people are underestimating his capability of being even a fantasy wide receiver 2. I get that we probably want to plan for wide receiver 3 numbers similar to Adams, but I could draft Debo as a very late wide receiver 2 in a build where I've ignored my wide receiver 2 for a while and I have to come in swinging and come in late into the game and grab Debo as my 2. I can do that. I don't know if I want to do that. I guess I could do that with Adams. So it depends on where he goes. Let me reserve the right to change my mind on Adams being a low end wide receiver 2 that I do the same thing with. Build a build where I'm ignoring wide receiver 2, come in and grab Adams. Depends where he is. Debo, we know where he is. Debo is that guy. I can do that. I can put my kind of faith in Debo for a wide receiver 2 value at that very late wide receiver 2 range. I would go ahead and take Debo personally if you've got wide receiver depth. If you said I'm really thin, I would say it's a little risky. But look, man, you can't, you got to risk it for the biscuit. Scared money don't make money. And if you're not first, you're last. So give me Debo Samuel. Love Reed, but his situation probably will deteriorate a little bit. So go ahead and make that move. A lot of people might tell you not to do that. Not me. Rodgers ruined any chance that an NFL team would sign him unless... Why do you say that? Giants don't need Rodgers. His attitude is a cancer. Why do you think he ruined his chances of signing with an NFL team? I think there's plenty of teams that are going to go headless at the quarterback position that have to go after him, bro. I think you're not wrong in saying that he's maybe turned a lot of teams off and maybe he's eliminated some options, but you can't say no team is going to sign him. Rodgers ruined any chance that an NFL team would sign him. Let's see if that ends up holding true. He may retire, but there's going to be a team, bro, that's going to take him. There's going to be a team that has no quarterback, and Aaron Rodgers is better than nothing. And he still has kind of an arm, bro. And let's think about it for a second. How much of this is Aaron Rodgers' fault, and how much is it the New York Jets' fault? The New York Jets were horrible when he arrived, and they had a ton of talent. This has been a Mickey Mouse organization for a little while now, and even Davante Adams, when he was traded and arrived, What did Davante Adams say? This is a weird organization where no one's motivated. No one's even cheering for each other on the sideline. Defense recovers the ball. Offense isn't even watching. They're just sitting on the sideline, playing with their Gatorade cups. Like, nobody's even he's like, this isn't a team. It's not a team. There's no camaraderie. And I blame this on the coaching staff prior. I blame this on Salah. I blame this on the entire organization for letting it happen. And so I'm not saying Aaron Rodgers is the answer. I'm not saying he's not part of the problem. But looking back to Zach Wilson, Robert Salah with Zach Wilson, looking back at everything that was going on, this wasn't all on Aaron Rodgers. This was an organization problem, a team problem, a morale problem, a camaraderie problem, and a New York Jet problem, which I believe that is going to potentially be fixed by this new coaching staff. Aaron Glenn's got that different mentality. He ain't going to put up with nothing. No friends are coming to practice that are unauthorized. Probably won't even allow, things that a lot of other coaches would allow. He's going to be a stricter guy, but it's going to be run game, defense, and I'm not too sure what the passing environment's going to look like. I'll admit that off the top here, but I do think it's going to change a little bit in New York, so I don't think it's necessarily going to stay the same. But I don't know. Aaron Rodgers might not have been as big of a problem as you think. It could have been a very big problem that New York kind of, you couple it with Aaron Rodgers' diva mentality, and it just was a bad fit. Aaron Rodgers showed up at training camp and said, "I'll take a lap. Let me know when the season starts." No reps with his teammates. Giants would be making a huge mistake signing Aaron Rodgers. I agree with that, because I don't think the Giants need to play for 1 year. They're not going to win, and bridge quarterback, I don't need it. I want them to go after Cam Ward. Push your chips in. Go get Cam Ward. Cam Ward to mother freaking Neighbors. That's what we want. That's all we need. Shador to Neighbors, I'll deal with that as well, especially with Dable there to help Shador. Justin Fields. New York needs one of these three quarterbacks in this order: Cam Ward, Justin Fields, Shador Sanders. That's what needs to happen. Nothing else. No Aaron Rodgers, no Russell Wilson, no Sam Darnold, although Sam Darnold would be a decent fourth option. But yeah, I don't want Aaron. I made that abundantly clear. I don't want Aaron Rodgers in New York. But will the New York Jets look at him? If they're out of options, maybe, bro. Realist with another one. Allen, Cook, Hubbard, London, Neighbors, DK, Shakir, Reed, Brown. Phone lines are open, by the way. League starts 3 wide receivers, would sacrifice Reed to start Debo. I don't mind that at all, bro. I don't mind that at all. You're doing good things, keep doing it. Don't change. Ward the Neighbors is what the people want. It's what we want. Ward the Neighbors, and we're going to say this. Ward the Neighbors, we're going to say this. We told you.
Mashed potatoes!
Yeah, buddy.
New York, listen to me. Ward, Fields, Shador, then Darnold. And don't even go to the Darnold front. Keep it of the top 3. Don't even go to 2 or 3. Go to 1. Ward. Ward is all you need to do. It's all you need to do. BBQ says Giants need to trade up and grab Ward. Yep, that's exactly what we're preaching here. Thank you, BBQ. Rock out. You're live from the moon. What's up?
What do you think about Adams going to maybe Denver? They probably want to go younger, but what do you think about that?
Yeah, that could be the one place where Adams kind of has a nice little, that's, come to think of it, Rock Out, that is probably the best location. I don't know how much of a reality that is, but if he gets cut, it will be. Trade-wise, I don't know. No one who wants to take on this contract, $38.2 million when you don't even know. No one knows. We're not sure. What's Davante Adams going to bring? So Davante Adams is a free agent. Denver will be a call-in. And you know what? Bo Nix might be a nice little lure to this cat. And Adams probably, I don't know how smart he is in terms of, I'm not saying overall, but I don't know how smart he is in terms of knowing what's the best situation for him, because he's picked piss poor situations his entire, the two moves. Going to the Raiders to play with his best friend Derek Carr. Adams doesn't know what he's doing when it comes to deciding what's best for him. Not saying he's not smart on the field. I'm not saying he's not smart off the field. But when it comes to making his landing spot decision, he's as bad as it gets. And then he goes over to play with Aaron Rodgers. I think he's probably embarrassed a little bit. And I think he probably is going to say something along the lines of, yeah, Milroe to the Giants wouldn't be bad. I don't think that would be bad. That would be okay. We'll talk about that in a second. I think Adams is probably embarrassed and thinking to himself, let me go be a big boy by myself again. Let me not, because what are the last two moves he did? Chasing a quarterback. Went to go chase his buddy Derek Carr. Coddle me, Derek. And then he goes over and chases Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers, recoddle me. And so now I think he goes, let me go find a new friend. Let me do what's right for me. So Denver makes sense. If he's a free agent, that would be a great place to go. I like that. As for Milroe, I like Milroe. Milroe's solid. There's a report that his hands grew. This report's wild. I don't think the report is meant to be serious, but it might. Let me see if this is it. Yeah, here it is. Amazing. Jalen Milroe's hands have grown a half an inch since the Senior Bowl. I don't think that's possible, but the measurements were wrong, at least. And so the NFL Combine measurements 9 3/8. That's a big difference. That's a huge difference. So, Milroe's interesting. I like him a lot more after the Combine. Watching him throw, there were some good throws. Like, he threw the football really well. And, he's such a good runner. And I think he's a little more polished than an AR5, right? So I know we have a tendency to tie him to AR5. When we tie every running quarterback now that doesn't throw the best, let's say, to AR5 now. And we're going to always say it's going to fail. It's not going to work. Let's never do that again. But every player is different. Every situation is different. Comes from, big school. And it's just a whole different situation. I'm kind of intrigued by Milroe in LV and kind of in New York. Would I rather have Joe Milton over Milroe? Yes, I would. I'd rather have Joe Milton in LV or in New York playing with neighbors than I would Milroe. Would I rather have Milroe in New York or LV over Aaron Rodgers? Yes. Would I rather have Darnold over Milroe? Probably. Maybe. Depends. Because Milroe, if Milroe's not the guy, it is a huge, 2-year mistake. And it could be even longer than that. Especially, you give a player, look at AR5, given a second year, we're going into AR5's third year. So you're looking at maybe 3 years of mistakes, and then you turn the page, and it's like you really want neighbors to go through, not including any years in the past, a 3-year experiment. I kind of do, and I kind of don't. Joe Milton for me. I'd much rather Joe Milton. I love Joe Milton. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting, man. Milroe's a really good player to bring up. He is climbing. His stock's going to climb. This combine is definitely going to climb his stock. And you got to ask yourself, these teams that are drafting in the top 15 that need a QB, is one of them going to take Jalen Milroe now? It's possible. I mean, especially if his hands, Jalen Milroe's hand. Again, I don't know if he meant this seriously. Amazing. Jalen Milroe's hands have grown a half an inch since the Senior Bowl. Milroe's an alien. I don't know if that's meant to be serious. There's no way. But how could it be measured wrong though? You know, we're talking about like professional measurers. Like the Senior Bowl didn't have like the intern out with his tape measure. So how did it get measured that wrong? Did he have somewhere saying maybe he did some finger stretching exercises? Some people were saying maybe he had a broken or dislocated finger. But that time frame doesn't make sense. Like a half an inch in that time frame. If it is true, like we're looking at a guy we don't even know who he is yet. You know, how exciting is that? How exciting is that? Hands keep growing over the course of like a year and a half or something like that. But since the Senior Bowl, I don't know about that one, bro. Maybe he went to the same doctor CMC went to overseas. They did a little bit of a little procedure. Maybe he spilled some of the. Never mind. Anything else to rock out?
Yeah, what's the earliest you would take a Debo?
As I mentioned just a minute ago, late wide receiver 2. I'm all for it. I don't care what people say. Late wide receiver. Definitely late wide receiver 2. Nothing sooner than that though, rock out. You got to be careful. How do they measure hands? It's from pinky to thumb, right?
Yeah, pinky to thumb. Like wide.
All right, let's see. Let's just see what we can do with some hand. Let's see what we can do for some hand stretching. Okay.
All
right. So we're looking at what is that? 9 and let's see. Hold on. Gotta get it just right on this side. 9 and 3, almost 3/4. Well, we'll say 9. 9 and what is that?
It's like half or 9/4.
That's more than half. Definitely more than half. Let me see.
Yeah, 9.5.
So here's 9. I just gotta get my pinky right on the line. I don't want to go over and cheat. So I'm over the 9.5. I'm over the 9.5 mark, but I'm not quite at the 3/4. So I'm like, I don't know, what is that? 9 and 6.5 tenths. So let's see. I'm gonna do some stretching exercises at the course of the show, and let's see if I can get myself a half inch by the end of the show.
Yeah, you should get one of those like squeeze exercise machines.
I got some mitts on me. I mean, these are some big mitts, bro. I can catch, as Denny said, you sling it to me and I'll catch it. Maybe the core board exercises, maybe. Let's keep stretching it out. We're gonna get an extra inch or half an inch by the end of the show. Someone said 9 and 7/16 is what you're giving me. Is that correct? I'm a little, yeah, it might be right. 7/16. All right, dial into the phone line. They included his fingernails. I don't know. Kenny Pickett needs to get. What's Kenny Pickett's hand size? Wasn't it like
8 and something?
Bro, that is tiny. Look at here's 9 and over 9.5. He was 8. Kenny Pickett's hand was.
It's like 8.6, maybe something like that.
It's like this. Kenny Pickett. You never had a chance. Then again, what's Joe Burrow's? Oh boy. Ziggy. How big are Joe Burrow's hands?
Yeah, I think he got big ones.
No, he doesn't. 9 inches. No, Ziggy volume 10. 9 inches. So he's right. But hey, that's not that much. That's not that much smaller.
Josh Allen.
That's it. Ziggy, how big are Josh? Oh wait, look, I've already grown. I'm past 9 3/4 now.
Question. Elsa has 838,000 YouTube subscribers.
Ziggy off. Look, I'm over it now. Just by stretching my fingers. I think I'm going to get to 10 by the end of the show. So, you know what this is? You know what this is? I can tell why I'm able to do it. All you're doing is you're trying to stretch this here, whatever muscles and ligaments are here and here. That's all it is. I can feel myself. Look, I'm not past this mark here. I'm not cheating at all. I'm way past the 3/4 mark now. Yeah, it might have to do with your UCL. Yes, I'm way past that. I'm gonna get to 10 by the end of the show. I'm gonna have 10-inch hands by the end of the show. What ED product wants to endorse this channel right now? This man is a marvel. He's using our product. All right, let's keep stretching.
Doing the stretch.
I'll tell you, my hands feel sore. Down into the show, guys. Rock out. Anything else? Yeah, I might get drafted now.
This year the tight end's gonna make a comeback. It was kind of a struggle as
Who?
far as what we thought.
Who?
The tight end position.
Oh, tight end. I thought you said the Titans. I'm like, no, Rock out. Titans aren't making no comeback at all. There's no comeback to have. Tight ends, yes.
Position.
Yeah. I think Laporta is my favorite tight end. I mean, he's a freaking, what is he, Marsman?
He's on a shuttle to Mars.
I reorganized the Marsmen, Moonmen slightly. Saturn men.
The Jupiter men. Jupiter is so large. Every planet in the solar system could fit inside.
The Saturn men.
Saturn men.
One small step for man, one giant leap for Saturn.
I consolidated. I brought Brees Hall, Kyron onto the board with Bucky, JSN, BT. This looks good. I mean, look at the Jupiter board. It looks solid. I mean,
the Jupiter men.
Winners.
Jupiter is so
Winners.
large.
Look at
the Saturn men.
Look at the Saturn men.
One small step for man,
all
one
80
giant
steals.
leap for Saturn.
Bucky Irving, mother freaking 2-3 turn. Brees Hall, Kyron, third rounders. JSN, third rounder. BT, he's BT. Marsman.
He's on a shuttle.
Only
to Mars.
Laporta sits on the Marsman list, so we got 4 more spots to fill here.
The Moonmen.
Moonmen are full.
Dropping loads in outer space.
Sampson, Whittington, Scattaboo, Henderson, Hunter, and Agbuka. We're running out of spots, though. We're running out of spots. All right, let's have a little another hand test. Ready? Let's go.
All right.
Yeah, this is a BS situation where you can stretch it out before. Oh God, I'm so much further than before. Let me get back. My pinky's a little over. Well, now I'm about, maybe I'm a little shorter than before. But I mean, my second measurement, I was way past the 3/4 mark. Now I'm right at it. And then if we use my other hand that hasn't been stretched out near as much. Oh, geez. That one without even being stretched out is at right at the 9 3/4. Hold on. I can get more. 10. We're at 10. We got 10-inch hands. We got 10.
Let him cook.
When you decide what YouTube channel you want to watch, are you watching a guy with 10-inch hands or 8-inch hands? Ask yourself that question. Ask yourself that question. All right, Rock out. Anything else before I jump? We'll be back tonight.
Yeah, you think a team might skip quarterback and try to get Manning next year?
Yeah, but bro, you got to get the one pick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's a gamble. It's not always easy. And anybody that has it's not going to necessarily trade it. All right, bro. Call back tonight. Later. Look, the left hand is at 10 inches. We're a 10-inch hand. This right hand Or no, the right hand's at 10 inches. I'm sorry. Look at that. Hold on. Let me get that over a little bit. That's cheating. There. Right, hold it. There. Look at the thumb's right there at the edge. 10 inches. It slides, though. Kenny Pickett, just for scale, Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett's hand. It's kind of a claw. All right. I'll see you all later tonight. Appreciate every single one of you. Thank you to my super chatters. We had BBQ dropping one. We had Joe the Realist dropping a double. Joe, good trade, my guy. Go get Debo. Do it live. See you all tonight. Live Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Thank you, Big Sonny. Again, go to last night's video at the end when the credits are up. I tagged you in the comments and pinned it with the timestamp. Big Sonny, go to last night's video with the timestamp pinned in the live chat, or in the normal comments, and I have your answer there. Appreciate you, Big Sonny. I'll see you all tonight. Or if my hands grow, I'll go live again.